onto the disaster of a dunk contest. Now, look, we all know this thing has been cooked for years. I watch, and I'm sure you watch, I'm sure many people at home watch, just based on the nostalgia of years past, and you're hoping to get surprised, right? I thought last year McClung's performance was a breath of fresh air, a nice surprise.
We got to go to the G League now, CP, to go get talent.
We're going to different directions. All right, we're getting closer and closer to bringing people off the street to do this, and so we'll see what happens there. But the thing starts off with Jaime Jaquez. And first and foremost, he had no chance. Secondly, when you start bringing out the props, he brings out Shaq, coming in with the camera. You're taking mad long to set up. First and foremost, you better execute that on the first try. Because after all that, you're taking mad long, and you don't get it, it's going to look even worse for you. His dunks were bland. His dunks were plain. Thanks for participating. I thought, he represented himself well, and he's having a good year as a rookie. But he comes in with the hat. It just made.
I was so thrown off by that one.
I was like, "What's up with the hat?" And then on his second attempt, the hat comes off. He botches it.
The first attempt and the second attempt, it comes off.
He was all over the place. But salute to him for trying. Now, this is when this thing got really egregious, and I literally just turned away. Our guy Jacob Toppin.
Nice.
Okay, he brings Obi out. I love that. The brothers come out, past champion Obi. Once Nick owes you, Nick. I kind of miss Obi, man.
Rocking Obi shoes that he won in.
Oh, he did. Okay, that was nice. That was a nice touch. And I thought his dunks were nice.
They were nice.
I thought his dunks were nice. But somehow, he gets eliminated in the first round to Jaylen Brown, whose dunks were hot trash. Hot trash, bro. Hot trash.
Hot trash.
The judges should have eliminated themselves at that point. What are you watching? Man? I couldn't believe it. That Jacob Toppin, after two nice dunks, got eliminated. I think he had like a 47 on the second attempt and loses to Jaylen Brown, man. Your thoughts, bro? I couldn't believe it.
There were so many things wrong, and I know you didn't hear the audio for this. And once again, Kenny the Jet Smith.
Yeah.
Flopping all over himself, just like stumbling and bubbling on the broadcast. Thank God they went to Jamal Crawford after that one and Vince Carter to do the commentary for the finals, because good Lord, man. But starting off, you have with Jaime Jaquez, as you mentioned. I didn't think he was that good. Like you said, having a good season. This is where it started to go south, especially with Kenny. Kenny sees the Mexican flag on the court. He's like, why is there a Mexican flag on the court? I'm like, and why are we showing Mexican players? I'm like, bro, are you serious?
Wait, why are we showing?
You don't know that Jaime Jaquez is Mexican? He did not know that, apparently.
But he was asking why they had Mexican players on there?
Yeah, he was like, why are we showing Mexican players, and why is there a Mexican flag on the court? I'm like,
oh my God. Wait, did they do like a montage of Mexican
on the court?
Oh, okay.
On the LED court, they were showing the montage.
Okay,
and Kenny's like, why are we doing this? And I'm like,
yeah,
you can't put two and two
he was
together.
hungover from the night before, man.
I was like,
did no research and just showed up for work, man.
This is crazy that you can't even figure that one out. Kenny then goes on to say Darnell Tillman instead of Darnell Hillman.
Oh man,
ruining the voting for because he was impressed by Jaylen Brown's dunk, and I'm like, what? I was like, you were impressed by Jaylen Brown? Bro, what is happening, man? Jaylen Brown was awful.
Were
all right,
terrible.
The Kai Cenat being out there as a prop, like you're jumping over him. Like I would hope that you're able to jump over him in a chair. That's not impressive to me. And then you have Tatum lobbing the ball, and then it was just so bad.
He missed on the first one. He missed on the first one, man. Look, I get the whole.
You even ask Tatum to practice with you because Tatum didn't even throw it right the first time.
Right. Look, I get. They bring Kai Cenat. I'm sure he was live streaming or something to Twitch or whatever the case. They really want to tap into that Gen Z, Gen Alpha thing. He dropped the phone.
He dunked it. He was like, Jaylen Brown's jumping. He just ducks it. I'm like, we're all over the place in this.
Bro, it was hilarious, man. So, like, okay, they want to really milk this thing with Kai Cenat. And I get it. He's hot right now. His brand is hot, and he's for the kids, and the kids love him. But he misses on the first attempt. And it was so basic. Who can't hop over? Kai Cenat's like 4'6", sitting down. He's like 4 foot. So who can't jump over him and catch a lob, basically, you're jumping over nothing. So how is that even remotely impressive, especially after he missed the first attempt? And then he still goes on to the second round. That was ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
And I didn't get all the tributes. When I saw the dude, I forget who came out in the Hawks jersey. I'm like, who? What? Like, what?
I don't know who that guy was in the Hawks jersey. But going back to the LED courts, the Dominique stuff, that was hard. Those are hard. That was hard. And I'm showing the Jaime Jaquez one with the Mexican flag. That was hard, bro. With the introduction of the LED courts, that was fire.
That was great. But you have you're doing these tributes to Dominique Wilkins and everybody else there. I'm like, but you're not wearing the jersey. You're not part of that team.
Yeah,
I'm so lost in everything that he tried to do, and I'm like, is it because he's from Georgia?
He is.
I know he's from Georgia, but I'm saying, is it because he's from Georgia that you're trying to attribute to Dominic? Like, then why don't you wear the jersey?
Yeah.
How come you're not throwing it on? Like, we saw Donovan put on former players' jerseys to do tributes.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense to me. And so the fact that he was in the finals with Mac McClung, because I'm guessing what they're saying is that we can't have Jacob Toppin and Mac McClung being in the finals because both these guys are G League guys.
They rigged it, man.
It would have been, I guess, bad for the brand, but you know it's bad when Mac McClung jumping over Shaq. That was impressive.
That was hard.
Clean.
That was Mac.
Clean.
Mac represented well once again and deserved to win it. I was like, yo, get Jaylen Brown out of here, man. Mac put this guy out of his misery, and he did. Mac's dunks were great, very impressive.
Phenomenal.
He said he had some new ones in the bag. I'm showing this one right here, this little like corkscrew behind the back one that he did from the side. That was hard. So he represented well, but bro. Let me go back to this Jaylen Brown one. I'm trying to find another highlights. Look to everybody in the chat, man. Let me find this Jaylen Brown one. So he jumps over 4-foot Kai Cenat. They do an overhead thing of the Celtics parquet floor. Like anybody cares about that. It's the game's in Indiana. But, okay, let's put on the Celtics parquet floor. And then he ends it with the D Brown. He was doing so much. He tries to end it with the D Brown covering his eyes.
Yeah, as he's landing.
As he's landing.
How long? Did he even practice for this? Did he?
He did not practice, bro. He did not practice, bro. There was no way.
And then when you get to the voting of it, right?
Yeah.
Like Jacob Toppin should have been in there.
Yeah.
In the finals with Mac McClung, and that would have been much more entertaining in my opinion. Like two great dunkers, and then you just see this, and this is why it's so hard to even get guys like Ja and Zion in it, where you see Aaron Gordon in the past get robbed.
Man, I missed that one, man.
He got robbed by Derek Jones Jr., who did a basic dunk.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin got robbed by Anthony Simons, who didn't even kiss the rim.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And so when you see this, why would I as a player be like, why would I want to join this competition if I'm not, if I could put on a great performance and get robbed? Aaron Gordon got robbed twice, in my opinion. I thought he should have beaten Zach LaVine the first time because he came out with some fire dunks that year.
Yeah.
And then he should have beaten Derek Jones Jr. And like, you just see this stuff. And of course, Ja's like, if I see this, I'm not doing it. You have Aaron Gordon on Twitter be like, Jacob Toppin should have been in the finals.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, duh. He's like, he got robbed.
Here was Jalen Brunson, man, on Twitter. I guess Jacob needed to jump over the shot clock to get higher than a 46. Shout out to Brunson with the shade, man. I love it. I love it, man.
And you know how it's bad is that Mac McClung on air did not commit to doing the dunk contest next year. That's how you know it's bad. That's how he's like.
Max saying, cut the check. I'm out here performing. I'm in and out of the G League.
Should.
Cut the check, man.
As they should. He's the only one keeping it alive at this point. So the fact that it's like, I don't know, man. Like, if he's not even committing to it, and this is the biggest stage he's going to get on because he's not going to be on an NBA court performing with amongst some of the greats unless he really improves his game. Like, what are we doing here? And this tells you how bad the dunk competition is as a product. It's got to be revamped, man. And I think you need to get judges, and the judges always stink, in my opinion, at this point. You know what I mean? They're not really into it. And I don't even see them like getting all hyped and trying to sell the product. They're just kind of sitting there like,
you got to get people into it, man. You got to get people into it. that are into it. Kenny, like he's done it so many, man. You got to refresh it. Get JC in there on the commentary. Like I said, get Drewski. Everybody, all the kids love Drewski. Get him in there to hype it up. Remember last year when they had this was a terrible idea. Remember last year when they had Draymond Green and Kenny Smith at the table at one time? Boy, that was literally the player haters ball, bro.
Oh, they did that. Don't worry, they did that this year. They did it. They had both of those guys commentating.
Bro, you can't have that, man. That was a bad look. A bad look.
So how about here you go. This is the quote that Kenny had. Gary Payton is a hater by nature anyway. Dominique Wilkins still probably thinks he should dunk. I don't know what Darnell Tillman is thinking about. That's the one where he should have said Darnell Tillman, and then Reggie had to correct him, Hillman.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, what world am I in that I have to agree with Reggie on stuff?
Right.
This is just
shout out to Chase One in the chat. He took the words out of my mouth. He said, "Dr. J always a judge. He looks bored." You know, Dr. J. He's thinking about his days, his glory days. He's like, man, this shit trash. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with him.
Yeah, Dr. J was not looking amused, man.
I mean, I'm going to go blaming Dwayne Wade for this because he robbed Aaron Gordon.
He did.
He robbed him. He robbed him. You gave it to your guy who was on the Heat at that time.
Yeah.
That if Aaron Gordon won, it's like, oh, I could potentially win. Now we're just getting some whack dunk competitions, man. Obi had some good dunks in the past, but there have been some years that it's just been awful.
Yeah.
What was the year after Levine and Gordon? I forget who won. The dude was on the Pacers, I believe. I forget who that year was. I got to pull it up.
How about when John Collins put on the aviator suit and tried to jump over a plane? Almost destroyed himself, crashed on the wing. I said, boy, oh boy, all these props, it's getting bad out here, man. The LED court was the highlight of this thing, along with McClung. Great job.
Glenn Robinson III.
Glenn Robinson III, yep. Glenn Robinson
That's
III.
how you know that's how you know it started going down.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's just something that, as the years go by, man, it's just going to continue to lose its luster. Like, you can only do but so much physically as a human being in this thing. Guys want to protect themselves. They don't want to get hurt out there. That's why you don't have the stars doing it. Just is what it is, man. It's not an evergreen competition. It's just gonna, continue to lose its luster, man.
And I think we need to understand that there's players who are better in-game dunkers,
right,
than actually Showtime performers. Like
Starks.
Gordon, solid in-game dunker, and he could be a Showtime. Same thing with Zach LaVine, but I watch, like, Jaylen Brown does have some solid dunks during the regular season.
Yeah. He'll posterize you. He'll put you on a body bag, yeah.
For sure, but creatively, he's just not there, and we see that. And so sometimes as fans, even though we want to see these players, we can get the letdown as well. I mean, think about Jericho Sims last year, which, by the way, Jaylen Brown made, shout out to our guy Gamba, said Jaylen Brown made Jericho look amazing last year with his dunks, ripping up the 50. But it's even like that. Like, Jericho is like a solid dunker. Like, he's got the vertical, but the creativity not there.
But most of the time, the bigger guys just, they're not going to fare well.